We welcome you to Mexico City this evening, where a colossal clash in a loaded Group A of W Champions Cup takes center stage. It is a pair of Liga MX title rivals in Club América and Pachuca locking horns for the second time in 3 weeks. We say hello and welcome from the Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes in Mexico City. Sam Goldfarb excited to bring you all of the action on a rainy night in Mexico's capital. On and off downpours the entire evening. You see the conditions on your screen. Should make for a slick pitch in this contest between these two familiar foes. It will be an interesting backdrop for this crucial Group A fixture. And on the subject of our group, it is nip and tuck towards the top of the table as things currently stand in Group A of this year's W Champions Cup. Right now, Orlando Pride topping it, but if one of these two sides wins, they have the chance to go back atop the table. Club América with one more match played than Pachuca, so they could use at least a point tonight to ensure they control their own destiny, although some would argue all three would be imperative given what Orlando's done with a perfect 6 points from 6 through the opening 2 matches of the competition. That is the backdrop for tonight's match. We've mentioned it, a second meeting between these two clubs in the last 3 weeks, and both in vastly different veins of form compared to when they last met. Of course, that a 3-2 victory for Pachuca. Goal scored by Maya Delgadillo in the opening 20 minutes, a brace for her, and then a red card to compound things for Club América with Scarlett Camperos being sent off. It made things rather difficult in their quest to get back in the fixture. And since then, it has been a rocky road for Las Águilas, winless in their last 3 in Liga MX Femenil play. The only victory since the final day of August came in 9-0 fashion over Ciudad in this very competition. Angel Villacampa, the head man in his 4th season, hoping to engineer a route back into this against a Pachuca side that has had his number in the year of 2025. A Club América side that has fallen in 3 of the first 4 meetings in this calendar year against Las Tuzas, including, of course, in the Clausura final, falling 3-2 across 2 legs. And despite winning the second leg on their home ground on this very pitch, it was not enough for them to secure a 3rd ever league title. All in all, though, it is a battle of Mexican giants. Club América side that has captured 2 league titles, including one under Angel Villacampa, now competing in its 2nd consecutive Concacaf W Champions Cup after falling in the semifinals to Gotham, the eventual winners a year ago, hoping to take a step further and contend for continental glory. They take on a debutante in Pachuca that qualified as the winners of the Clausura, and what a stretch they are on at the moment. Wins in their last 6 matches after a shakier start by their lofty standards. Oscar Torres has catapulted them back into the top 2 of the Liga MX Apertura table, and now hoping to make it a perfect 6 points from 6 to begin their first foray into continental action. So Club América and Pachuca, that is the backdrop. A Club América side that maybe hasn't lived up to its high-level preseason expectations, but still in the top 3 and in the thick of playoff contention in Liga MX. Now hoping to make a statement against Pachuca as it hopes to achieve revenge from 3 weeks ago. Club América Femenil and Pachuca Femenil entering the pitch in a matter of moments. We will step aside briefly here from Mexico City, and when we return, a look at our starting lineup. Stick with us. welcome you back to Mexico City, where we are just about set for kickoff in a title rivalry in Liga MX Femenil, now making its way to the continental stage. Club América hosting Pachuca in this massive W Champions Cup battle. A Club América side hoping to avenge its defeat from 3 weeks ago and to do it in the Champions Cup. Sam Goldfarb back here inside the Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, bringing you all of the action here this evening. A Club América side that has taken 4 points from its first 2 matches, rebounding from slight disappointment in their tournament opener against Alajuelense with 3 points against Ciudad. They take on a Pachuca side in flying form, winners of their last 6. Get your look at the Club América 11, and we will show you the starting lineup in a matter of moments. Here, a loaded squad in a 3-4-3 setup for Angel Villacampa. And one of the headliners up front you saw a second ago in Kiana Palacios, who has already bagged 9 goals to her name. The captains exchanging pleasantries here. Palacios, as well as Charlene Corral, one of the all-time great forwards in Liga MX Femenil, in season 5 with Pachuca, and already over the 150 goal threshold. There is your look at the officials. Alyssa Pennington overseeing things, Callie Smith, Katarzyna Wasiak, and Sandra Benitez, her 3 assistants. Here is your look on Angel Villacampa's 11, Sandra Paños, the 32-year-old former Liga F standout in Spain, the 3-back, which is loaded. Keep your eye on Irene Guerrero, who scored a hat-trick against Ciudad, and then up top, this is a loaded trio. The 18-year-old Saldivar is always someone to watch on the right flank. That is your look at the Club América 11, Las Águilas, bringing out the best firepower at their disposal here this evening. Their counterparts in Pachuca line up like this, a 4-4-2 setup. Very strong lineup. Kenty Robles, former Real Madrid defender, at right back. And then in the midfield, the veteran presence of Andrea Pereira and Carla Nieto. Up top, these two are deadly. Yeswal and, of course, Charlene Corral, who has already scored 14 goals in league play. Liga MX's all-time leading goal scorer on the women's side. And, of course, a nominee for Concacaf W Player of the Year in 24-25. We are just about set for kickoff in the Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, the temporary home of Club América, as Estadio Azteca undergoes renovations. It is Club América to get us underway in the yellow kits with the dark blue accents. They'll be going left to right on your screen. Pachuca in their classic road strip from right to left. We are underway. Sam Goldfarb taking you every step of the way in this one. Group A, with perhaps the banner clash of the division. Club América and Pachuca meeting once again in the wake of their legendary 2-leg Clausura final tie back in the spring, and what was an entertaining affair when they met on August 31st as well. Part of 3 consecutive matches in which Club América has dropped points in league play, desperate to right the ship here in one of their bigger matches of the tournament. A team that has already finished its 2 matches away from home, drawing Alajuelense and then toppling Ciudad by a 9-0 margin. Now they get to host Pachuca and Orlando Pride to round out the group. Those are the 2 hardest fixtures on their docket, though. We've already spoken about the shaky form that Angel Villacampa hopes to address. His side winners of their first 7 in league play ever since, though. Just 1 win in the last 4 in all competitions. He's mentioned how difficult the task will be to match up with Charlene Corral, as well as Yeswal. He's emphasized defensive solidity and discipline, and also imposing their tempo on this match in the hopes of controlling things and minimizing the number of touches. Corral, in particular, gets on the front line. Here's Delgadillo, back to brace last time these teams met. Cross overcooked, and knocked out of play before it can reach Nicosia on the near side. The counterpart, Oscar Torres, guiding Pachuca to their first ever league title in the Clausura 2025 slate. someone who has revitalized Pachuca after a rocky Apertura 2023 slate. He stabilized them in the Clausura. And last season, a strong entity from wire to wire in the Apertura and Clausura legs of the campaign. It is arguably two of the best tactical minds in Liga MX Femenil, going, well, decision for decision tonight. Here's Minota to the goalkeeper, Stephanie Paredes. It'll be interesting to see who gains the upper hand possessionally. These two teams met at Estadio Hidalgo 3 weeks ago. 50-50 even splits. It was a back and forth affair. Club América having a foothold despite going a woman down inside half an hour. And Scarlett Camberos was sent off. Here's Saldivar chasing after it and rolls back to Barreras. There is your look at the 28-year-olds. Spent the entirety of her 5-season pro career between the sticks for Las Tuzas, and the mainstay this season as well. Had 6 saves the last time these two sides met. It's a remarkable rise for Paredes in particular, a D2 All-American first-teamer in her final years of college at University of West Florida. Has navigated all the way to the heights of the Mexican senior women's national team. #1 for Mexico since the 2024 Gold Cup last year. It's a ball for Duezwo and pounced upon by Paños, a veteran for Club América, who joined from FC Barcelona last summer. Saldivar. Has a hit off the post. And there's the first warning shot from Club América. Well, she most definitely had Paredes beaten here. And perhaps rather unfortunate to not open the scoring for Las Águilas. No, it is not a Pachuca side that trails very often, especially over the course of this winning run. They've outscored opponents by a 23-7 scoreline over the course of this 6-match win streak. That dating back to their W Champions Cup opener against Chorrillos, which was a 6-0 annihilation at Estadio Hidalgo. Here's Corral, always dangerous. Plays it wide, and options in the box for a cross. Stabbed away by Rodriguez. Only as far as Minota. Nieto. Corral lays it off to Ueswo. Rather routine for Paños in the end. Already exciting back and forth interplay. Saldivar forced wide here, has a pop, and right off that far post. Excellent technique. Struck it rather cleanly, and if not for the fingertips of Paredes, that probably finds its way into the back of the net. Scintillating, quick reaction save. Corral. Well over the bar, but in the form she's in, you can't blame her for having a pop. That is your first look at Liga MX's all-time leading goal scorer. Won the Golden Boot in both legs of the 24-25 season for Las Tuzas. 46 goals, and set the Clausura record with 21 goals in that half of the campaign last year. Oddly enough, in the pre-match interview, Angel Villacampa mentioned how they nearly signed Charlene Corral back in the day. We're in talks with her, and then contract negotiations fell through. But that is the ultimate what if in Liga MX Femenil history. If Corral joins Club América, how the trajectories of both clubs change. Offside flag is raised against Las Águilas. Camperos too adventurous. No shortage of direct play here. They actually are coming back to Corral for the offside flag, and then the transgression the other way for Club América. Flores loses out. Maybe options the other direction now. It's an adventurous ball from Antonio. Didn't find its way through though. For those just joining us, we say hello and welcome from Mexico City, the capital city of Mexico, on an overcast, somewhat rainy night. Club América and Pachuca meeting for the second time since their legendary two-leg tie in the Clausura final a year ago. Back and forth so far in this potentially pivotal fixture in W Champions Cup action, especially when you factor in the group standings and Orlando Pride a perfect 6 points from 6. If one of these two sides is to drop all 3 points, it could be particularly devastating for their top 2 hopes. Of course, the top 2 teams in each group progress to the semifinals and play in one-match knockout fixtures. This is well done. Guerrero can't thread it through though. That is an interesting comparison. All time, Club América definitely the superior side in this fixture. 16, 11, and 3 in the previous 30 meetings, but since both coaches took the helm, Pachuca with 4 wins to Club América's 2. So Oscar Torres making Las Tuzas far more competitive in this particular fixture and generally. As you get another look at this coming together. Camperos dragged down. Well, she's arguing that she's not the party to blame there. They have a case as well. Gutierrez. Adventurous run forward from fullback. This is Camperos. Hoping to atone for that second yellow card she received on just 26 minutes. The last time these two teams met. Guerrero. Antonio. Saldivar, 18-year-old starlet for Club América. Has already burst onto the scene with 11 goals in 13 matches, nearly eclipsing her tally from a season ago already. Hernandez. Not quite on the same wavelength as Camperos there. Corral is fouled. Corral. Bashing it over the top. It does reach Nikosha. 22-year-old Dynamo on the near side. Will cross in and no one there to greet it. This front line for Pachuca, the duo of Iezwo and Corral, no slouches themselves. And then you have Delgadillo and Nikosha on the flanks. Extremely dangerous, especially on the counter if Club América opts to boss the run of play here, if they're even able to. I think it will have to be a tactical, well-conceived match model for either side to procure all three here, but especially Club América, given the form Pachuca's in. Our referee waves play on. Ball is beyond the reach of Corral. Iezwo. Minota. Kenty Robles. Errant clearance here. And a tussle for it. The referee blows play dead. Seems to be a choppy rhythm to this one early. You see Kenty Robles, the veteran, having issues clearing, arguing that maybe it hit the hand of Irene Guerrero. And then on the ensuing press, a referee then decides to blow up, and well, that explains Saldivar's frustration. Delgadillo. Well, for Club América, we've spoken about the somewhat uneven start to their W Champions Cup aspirations. Of course, last year finishing second in their group and reaching the semifinals before falling to Gotham. Actually won their group before falling to Gotham. This season, though, the draw against Alajuelense, which was seen as somewhat frustrating. Scoreless draw in Costa Rica before, of course, throttling Chorrillo away from home, which was expected given Chorrillo's struggles throughout the competition thus far. This is the first proper litmus test for them. Can they knock off a side that maybe has had their number domestically of late and put themselves in pole position to qualify from Group A? Camperos. She is fouled. Minota, the culprit. You take a look here at Minota. Just the leg right into the back of Camperos. No real disputes either way if that's a foul. We'll see what Irene Guerrero and company can conjure from here. It's arced into the quarter of uncertainty. Headed away with relative aplomb. Iezwo. Looking to spray it wide to Corral. It's cut out. Well, this fits the mold of two familiar foes duking it out in a high-stakes continental environment. Either side willing to give an inch, not wanting to expose themselves, prioritization of maintaining their shape. You can expect as this wears on, if there are no goals, it will become increasingly cagey. it almost has the feel of two sides afraid to lose it rather than one side chasing it, at least through the opening 20. You wonder if tired legs set in, maybe the team start to go for it more. Saldivar. She's certainly been up for it thus far. Pereira, veteran. Definitely put too much on that. On the other side of things for Club América, Sandra Paños, the 32-year-old between the sticks. Native of Spain, who spent the first 14 years of her pro career in the Liga FA. Of course, a former #1 in the Spanish national team ranks as well before Catacol displaced her, both at club and international level. This is terrific distribution and numbers here for Club América. Saldivar, loose and knocked in. Scarlett Camberos makes it 1-0 and Club América in front. The woman who was sent off the last time these two sides met opens the scoring this time. Just what the doctor ordered. What a delivery this is. The flick on header after Paños boots it upfield, and then it's a simple 2-on-2 break. Saldivar going for it, and then Camberos there to pick up the loose change. Club América 0, Pachuca 1. Club América 1, Pachuca 0. It's not a bad save by any means from Barreras, but just parries it right back into the path of Camberos. And that is the easiest of finishes she'll have all season. So 1-0 in favor of Las Águilas. Scarlett Camberos in the 19th minute. Her second goal of the competition, her 7th in all comps. Well, if you are just joining us, inside 20 minutes, a much different match script to the one we witnessed the last time these two sides met. By this point, Pachuca led 2-0. Scarlett Camberos, the 24-year-old who joined from Bay FC in the NWSL last summer and impressed in her debut campaign with Las Águilas, has continued her red-hot form to open this year with a 7th tally in all competitions. Scored 15 a year ago. Native of San Diego. Here's Saldivar, the architect of the chance. Guerrero. Yeswo, the opposite direction. Scarlett Camberos in her second stint with Club América, began her career here before moving to the NWSL for a season and a half with Bay FC. Since returning to Las Águilas, she has been a goal-scoring revelation. And scratch everything we said about this becoming a cagey affair now. Pachuca must go for it, and that will open things up considerably. There's the scoreline in all its glory if you're a Club América supporter. Through the midway point of this first half, the hosts lead. Club América side that, of course, was blanked at the weekend in El Super Clásico against Chivas. That is the way you put that on the back burner. It was the first time they were shut out all season. They've rectified that in quick fashion. Gutierrez. Carrick, who's venturing forward now more from center back. Better known as a deep-lying center mid. Guerrero's return ball is well off the mark. Robles. And right now, you see an inability for Pachuca to work their key playmakers into the fixture. Fullbacks have stayed tight on the legs of Delgadillo and Nicosia. Corral and Iezwo have yet to truly calibrate up front either. Frustrating start for Las Tuzas. Another set piece beckoning for Las Águilas. Guerrero, one of the two in the immediate vicinity. Lofted in, it's an inviting ball, it falls kindly. Ultimately, not a lot of sting in the effort from Brewster. Another loanee from the NWSL ranks with Club América. She's the difference maker. Scarlett Camberos, 24-year-old. Starting her third W Champions Cup match of the campaign in as many possible appearances. Guerrero, that is clever work. Dispatches of her defender with expertise. Switch of the play to Gutierrez. Just couldn't field it properly. Club América, the last time they participated in this competition in its inaugural form. We've already mentioned it, winning the group, falling in the semifinals to Gotham, the eventual winners, and then toppled by Portland Thorns in the third place playoff. It is a side that qualified once again by being the top side in the aggregate table. Did not win the Apertura or Clausura, but earned that third and final spot by being the best aggregate team that hadn't yet qualified. They are a powerhouse in Mexican football, despite maybe not always taking home the ultimate trophy. This arc towards Camberos, just narrowly beyond her. Nicosia. This is Iezwo. Now Corral. Nicosia still down. Iezwo gives chase. Paños collects with relative ease as the youngster Nina Nicosia is still slow to return to her feet. We see here, definitely upended. It's not a nasty challenge, but it's one that definitely hurts. The native of Oswego, Illinois, is gingerly back to her feet. Played just one season of college soccer at Louisville before signing with Pachuca. Someone who's made her senior debut for Argentina relatively recently at that. Antonio. This is Carrick venturing forward again. Meadows may have been off anyways. This is Yeswell. One of the rare link-ups we've truly seen between her and Corral. Doesn't come to much other than a free kick. It's an interesting shift in shape because for all intents and purposes in the early stages of this year, Yeswell was used as Corral's reserve, playing one striker. Meanwhile, Club América, more known for a 4-back formation, they shifted into a 5, at least on their tactical. Nicosia puts it back to Corral, just left it dangling. And now cleared out to Camberos, the goal scorer, with plenty of room to roam. Well, we inch towards the 30-minute threshold. As things stand, Scarlett Camberos, the difference maker on 19 minutes. Putting Club América in front 1-0. The fans in support enjoying what they've seen thus far. A side that's good value for the lead they possess. With the exception of a half chance inside the opening 5 minutes, Pachuca has looked second best, which is a far cry from what we saw at Estadio Hidalgo on August 31st. That a match in which Club América entered halftime trailing 2-0 and down a woman. Did pull a goal back before Charlene Corral added the late dagger. Well, they were able to grab a second. It was a futile attempt at leveling the scoreline. Pereira. This is Nicosia. A rare bout of room for her. Once again intercepted by Hanna Gutierrez. Zaldivar tried to dart it back across. Camberos was lingering. There's one back though. It's an audacious hit from Palacios. Not one that truly troubles Paredes. This would have been some strike. Palacios hit it rather cleanly, unfortunately for her, right at Paredes, and it's just catching practice for her. Well, as we inch towards halftime, Club América appears to have put its recent woes results-wise on the back burner. They've been the better side. They're good value for the 1-0 lead they possess and deserved advantage at that. Minota. That's an errant pass, and now there are options for Club América. Cut across, and off the bar this time. Another golden chance for Camberos, and just narrowly high. Camberos and Palacios this time. Palacios pouncing on the errant ball for Minota. Camberos does well to take this first time, but underneath it a touch, and that's what prevents her from enjoying a first half brace. Still, Lovely interplay. And cutting through Pachuca like a knife through butter. Albeit a stretch Pachuca after the errant ball across. And at this point, Angel Villacampa just has to be hoping for a second to compound things. And it may well come here. Camberos hits it towards goal, and this time Paredes equal to it. Palacios. Guerrero. Threads it through. Paredes just wins that foot race with Saldívar. Carrick wins back. Saldívar once again is through on goal. Decent stop there. A fingertip save by Paredes, who is a woman under fire at the moment between the sticks. Well, a bevy of stops. The first one rather routine. The second, anything but. This is just lofted towards goal, and again, catching practice, but Camberos testing Paredes between the sticks. Well, moments later, Saldívar this time just loses the foot race by a couple of steps. And now the first corner of the night for either side. Irene Guerrero to take. A trio of goals and an assist in their last W Champions Cup match. Taken within swing, still loose. Camberos narrowly missed creeping that in. This is an attacking onslaught from Club América, and it is unrelenting. Taken again within swing, near post, driven away. As far as Camberos. You just see the ferocity with which Club América throws numbers forward in the press. There is no avenue out for any of these Pachuca defenders. The statement of intent has been clear from Las Águilas, especially since going in front. He will recklessly chase a second. See here, an effort actually cleared off the line by Flores. Would have been creeping in from Camberos, it seems. Carrick. Palacios. Pachuca just desperately seeking an avenue out and unable to procure it. Camberos, flag stays down. Pachuca just does enough to scramble it away. Nearly snuck in at Paredes' near post that time. One-way traffic now. Club América first to every ball. Camberos is clearly onside at the time the ball is played. Kenzie Robles nearly squirted it in at her own near post. Inside the final 10 minutes of this first half from Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, 35,000 seat venue nearly in Mexico City, temporary home of Club América, while the much larger Estadio Azteca undergoes renovations for the Men's World Cup next summer. What a venue this is, though. Tremendous playing surface, a great circular-like, dome-like structure without the roof, if you will, in terms of the seating. It's an intimidating venue for any visitors. And Pachuca have been overwhelmed for large spells so far. Still, though, within striking distance, Club América unable to procure the second just yet. Palacios. Kim Rodriguez hoofs it forward. Most kindly for Nicosia. Tries from afar. It's right into Brewster, though. Hernandez floats this ahead, and numbers for Club América once again. The ball needed to be a touch heavier towards Camberos there. Corral is offside. She has largely been isolated so far. The service to Corral and Ieswell has been subpar, to say the least, just due to the fact that Pachuca's been unable to string 3-4 passes together consistently. Oh, that's lovely. Inventive from Saldivar. Corral. Now hunting support. Camberos. Driving ahead with confidence, cutting it across to Saldivar. It was just a step or two late. Well, how about this? Beautiful game, that. The back heel nearly picked out Irene Guerrero at the end of it. The 18-year-old is playing with some confidence at the minute. It is remarkable, the rise of Montserrat Saldivar. As you see, this just narrowly trickles out of play before Hannah Gutierrez can reach it. 18 years of age, someone who debuted at 14 years old in the Apertura 2021 slate. The youngest ever debutante in Liga MX Femenil history, and she will forever be that, because now the minimum age to debut in Liga MX Femenil is 15 years old. Saldivar has continually grown into one of the top attacking talents, not just in the league, but in Mexican football as a whole. Simultaneously playing with the U20 national team as well as the senior side. Antonio. Carrick. Boston legacy loading. Guerrero has a pop. That would have been something, but got well underneath it. As things stand, Angel Villacampa in line to get one over on Oscar Torres after losing 3 of the first 4 meetings in this calendar year. This is the last scheduled meeting between the two sides. And on 40 minutes, Scarlett Camberos has Club América 1-0 to the good. Nikki Hernandez. There's a Club América player still down. We'll play it out to 10 to the fallen player. Maybe Irene Guerrero, which that is a concerning sight if so. Yes, it is. She's in a tussle here between two. Undercut. Perhaps landing right on the funny bone as well. It's not a kind landing on the surface. She's been a key cog in the midfield all season long, frankly, since joining last summer from Manchester United, where she struggled to break in to the regular 11. She's best known, though, for her time in Liga FA with Atletico Madrid as well as Levante. The other side of things, you see the urgency from Oscar Torres. This bunch has been, frankly, underwhelming. Opening stages of this. Here's Guerrero is content to continue, which is a welcome sight for all involved. You look at the underlying numbers, and they certainly tell a convincing tale. A 10-3 shots advantage for Club América, 56% of the ball. Pachuca with just 1 shot on target the entire match. Has not been their dream start by any means. Gutierrez flashes this in first time. Comes out to it as well. Maybe can negotiate through the thicket of yellow kids. Only temporarily. Antonio floats wide. Zaldivar is onside. Floats it toward the back post. Got way too much of it. It doesn't matter where they deploy her. Left flank, right flank, through the middle. Her influence does not wane. Stays onside just barely. Kenzie Robles plays her on and cuts in. That cross needed to be a touch better. Final minute of the initial 45. It's safe to say halftime is probably coming at the right time for Pachuca. What changes Oscar Torres will consider an intermission. Have to weather this though. Palacios' ball through. Just beyond Guerrero, who's back on the pitch. She's all action in the center of the park. Antonio. Meadows gives chase. No. 2 minutes of added time separating us from halftime. The question is, can Pachuca get there further unscathed, although they may have something here. Yeswal sent tumbling. Referee says it was won cleanly though. Now lofted forward. Flag is down. Zaldivar. It is still Zaldivar. Parried wide. Paredes all over it. Pachuca conjure some signs of life before intermission. This is hooked ahead. Well beyond Yeswal. Well, for a moment, it looked like maybe Yeswal was through, but this sliding challenge from Nicky Hernandez did the trick. And then the other end, Zaldivar once again from a tight angle, trying to pick out the far corner, and Paredes' fingertips saving Las Tuzas for what seems like the 4th or 5th occasion in this first half. Flores is sent clattering to the deck. And this likely the final sojourn forward for either side in this first half, if there's even time to create havoc. Minota. Kosha. Well, there's the halftime whistle. One-way traffic in the opening 45 minutes. And Club América with the 1-0 lead to show for it. Scarlett Camberos providing the difference-making moment in the 19th minute. And Pachuca caught on the back foot for the remainder of the first half. Our score at intermission, Club América 1, Pachuca 0. We will step aside when we return to look back at our first half highlights from Mexico City. Stick with us. We welcome you back from Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, where we take a look at our full-time highlights and mostly Club América chances. Saldívar off of the post early on, a bevy of opportunities for Las Águilas throughout the first half that you will see on this playback. And I think the biggest thing that Club América fans will wonder is how the scoreline is only 1-0. There were half chances early on for Pachuca. This one of the better ones. The only shot on goal of the entire first half from Chinwendo y Eswell. And then after that, largely dominant. And here is where the goal transpired. This knocked over the top. Saldívar sprinting through, and her shot saved, but on the follow-up, Scarlett Camperos there to tap it in, and Club América took the lead on 19 minutes. And throughout the remainder of those 45, it was all Águilas in terms of chance creation. It's not the cleanest of goals, but it is a goal nonetheless, and it is well-deserved based on the early dominance as well as the half-long control Club América exhibited throughout the first. And then after that, chance after chance, Saldívar was all over the shop throughout the opening 45, be it on the left flank or the right flank. She was probably the standout performer, even though she did not get on the score sheet. A de facto assist in many regards for Camperos' opener. And you see here, this is probably where they should have doubled the lead. Palacios winning it back upfield, playing it through to Camperos, and she rattles the crossbar right around the half-hour mark. That was their golden chance to maybe put things to bed in the early stages. And if this remains a one-goal game, and perhaps if Pachuca can snatch one, you wonder if they will look back and rue that moment as well as a few others. The story of the first, Pachuca failing to build out of the press. They look rather overwhelmed, and then chance after chance that just goes begging. This Montserrat Saldívar seeing her effort once again parried just wide from a Stephanie Barreras, and then here Scarlett Camperos darting it across, nearly scored it in at the near post. It was just constant and unyielding pressure, especially for the final 20 minutes of that first half, and Pachuca so fortunate to still be only down a goal. Once again, the story, Saldívar denied by Barreras on the stroke of halftime, but that is pretty much the summarization of what we just witnessed, the summary, if you will. When you look at the stats, they pretty much reinforce the visual story that we were just told. An 11-2 shots advantage for Club América against Pachuca. 9-1 in terms of shots on goal and the possession edge. Honestly, somewhat surprising. It's not more significant in favor of Las Águilas, but still in control of the match. And with Angel Villacampa emphasizing control in his pre-match press conference, I'm sure he'll be glad with what he's seen on that front. Well, at halftime, our scoreline reads Club América 1, Pachuca 0. We will step aside briefly, and when we return, the second half here from Mexico City. We welcome you back to Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, where we are just about set for second half kickoff in this W Champions Cup clash between familiar Liga MX Femenil foes in Club América and Pachuca. After a first half in which the hosts were dominant, they hold a 1-0 advantage, hoping to kill things off against a Pachuca side desperate for some semblance of a response. Pachuca now going left to right on your screen at Club América from right to left. The question is, will it be Club América ascending back atop Group A through 3 matches, or will it be Pachuca making it a perfect 6 points from an available 6? They have work to do if they are to have a perfect start to their campaign. We are back underway here from Mexico City. Club América and Pachuca in their Clausura 2025 final rematch and their rematch from 3 weeks ago. Hoping to settle things definitively on a football pitch. Nikosha dances past one defender and has options in the box. Cuts it across, cleared before can reach Eswalt, but that is much better from Pachuca. Las Tuzas for the majority of the final half hour of that first half, with almost nothing to write home about in possession. Overwhelmed by the press, but only down 1-0, and that will definitely provide them some hope as they head deeper into this fixture. The longer they can keep it competitive scoreline-wise, the less margin for error there is for Las Águilas, a side that probably can't afford to drop points as much as Pachuca can, given that they've played an extra match in the competition and have already settled for a draw against Alajuelense. Corral plays it back. The return ball is well off the mark from Andrea Pereira. We've spoken about the state of the group. Orlando Pride, a perfect 6 points from 6 after their demolition of Chorrillo on Tuesday night. Club América shortly behind them with 4 points. They would go top with a win, but everyone else except Chorrillo would have matches in hand. Issues building out here for Pachuca. And this is Camberos, the lone goal scorer. Cross comes in, and nothing but the edge of the side netting. But beyond that, Club América, if they are to drop points, even a draw would put them on 5 points from 3 matches. That would mean that all Pachuca would have to do to overtake them is achieve 2 points from their next 2. It's guaranteed. And assuming Club América can't get anything from the final day match against Orlando Pride, the defending NWSL champions and the presumptive group favorite, at least in Group A. Palacios. There's an adventurous run. Antonio looking for Camberos. It is cut out by Ojale. Now Corral. She is fouled. And this may warrant further action from our referee. Just a talking to. Our center back in Kim Rodriguez. A step late on this challenge. No malice in it, but certainly poorly timed. No warning is probably the right decision in that circumstance. Plenty of work to be done for Oscar Torres and company. A far cry from their performance the last time these two sides met at Estadio Hidalgo, as well as, of course, their first leg performance in the final. What a thrilling final that was in the Clausura. Pachuca winning 3-0 in leg 1, falling 2-0 on this very ground in leg 2. And there were chances throughout the second half for Club América to score a third and force what would have been a penalty shootout in the final. Palacios. Saldivar. And this is Carrick. with plenty of room, sprays it wide, and here is Montserrat Zaldivar. Cross cut out relatively well by Robles. She weathers that storm with aplomb. What is an interesting recent history for these two clubs, meeting in each of their respective most recent titles. Club América toppling Pachuca in the Clausura 2023 final, and then of course Pachuca returning the favor last spring. Oscar Torres capturing Pachuca's first ever league title. And Pachuca, in many regards, you could argue one of the most successful Mexican clubs as a result. They are the only women's club to win the league, Copa MX, and Campeón de Campeones title, capturing that trophy earlier this year. Antonio wins a free kick for Club América. See here, Antonio, slight tug from your lady Spinota, and that's what draws our referee's ire. And this is a decent spot for a set piece. Definitely something for Estefany Paredes to monitor, especially on flick-ons and second balls. It's Irene Guerrero, who's one of the two in the immediate vicinity. Lofted in, stabbed away. Maybe an anticlimactic finish to that set piece. For those that are just joining us, this performance is lying directly in contrast to the recent results we've seen. Club América dropping points in their last 3 Liga MX Femenil matches, not performing well defensively for the majority of those. Pachuca, winners of their last 6 in all competitions, last 5 in league play. And they've been so great going forward, but very little to show for it here. Corral hoping to change that. Delgadillo. A rare link up between herself and Charlene Corral. Carrick. Antonio. With plenty of room now. Malé does just well enough to cut it out, or at least throw the counter off. Nieto. Pachuca definitely responding better to the Club América pressure since the second and enjoying more of the ball. This is Nicosia. Switches it to Delgadillo, who's always dangerous. Has a hit, and it is right at Paños, but that much better from Las Tuzas. Had very few chances of that caliber throughout the first half. You see Delgadillo puts her laces through it. Issue is she hits it right at Paños. It will take better to beat her from that range. And while it appears she may have wasted too much time, that is the exact decision. There's that new rule throughout world football. If you take 8 seconds as a goalkeeper, you risk conceding a corner, and I believe that's what happens here. Charlene Corral stands over this. Curling in to the near post. Caught rather comfortably by Paños, though. Carrick. suddenly it's Club América struggling to build out. Well, remember, a bevy of chances after they went 1-0 up to double the lead. Could have gone into halftime leading 3-0. You wonder, as this wears on, how much that comes back to bite them. Corral appeals for handball, and they are granted just outside the area. And this is definitely an area where Corral could test the Club América back line. It's hard to go direct for goal from here, but you've seen on a number of occasions when players just curl it into the corner of uncertainty and the ball sneaks in. Not to mention, there's a number of navy blue and white kits lingering right around the 6-yard box. It's a major test. Corral drives to goal and overcooks it. Rather underwhelming in the end. You wonder if she should have opted to play that lower and try to sneak it in through the thicket of legs with the goalkeeper's vision impaired. "55 minutes gone. Still 1-0 in favor of Club América, but Pachuca much better this half. And this is played through towards Corral. Paños just manages to receive this before it exits the area. Hernandez, now the goal scorer, Camberos, linking up well with Guerrero. And now spraying it wide. This is Palacios. May have waited an excessive amount of time to get her ducks in a row. Nikosha is still down. Has taken a number of hard knocks on the pitch. This is the latest of the lot. As time wears on, though, Las Tuzas look more and more game. Their response since halftime has definitely been a welcome one as far as Oscar Torres is concerned. Getting Charlene Corral more and more into the match. Delgadillo and Nikosha getting more touches too. Now Yeswal knocked down just outside the area, and once again, a tight angle free kick that could pose some trouble. A slight Club América wobble. Brewster this time penalized. She and Gutierrez unenthused by the decision. Once again, Corral can look to cause some trouble. And this is an even tighter angle where vision is more impaired for a goalkeeper. Arcing in. Nodded away by Carrick. Had a better delivery, though, from Corral. More for Sandra Paños to monitor than she would have thought, given how the first half went. Robles hooks it toward the back post. Maybe some nerves creeping into the fans in attendance. Looked like smooth sailing through the opening 45. Anything but here since the restart. Corral calls for Delgadillo. Palacios. Guerrero. In numbers forward for Club América. Saldivar giving chase. Just behind her. In front of her, I should say. Guerrero. Palacios. Here's the cross in. Far too tight on Paredes. A direct game unfolding, and it's beginning to emerge into an end-to-end affair. A far cry from what we saw in the first 15 minutes or so. First time we've truly seen the match in a competitive and open state. Usually when it's been open, it's been bossed by Club América, picking apart Pachuca on the break. Or through the counter press. And now we're gone. It is still Las Águilas clinging to a 1-0 advantage. See here this time, Hanna Gutierrez, upended by Nikosha.
Dale, adelante, vamos.
Camberos. Tussle with Flores, the center back. This time, Nikosha's fouled. Still no changes for either side. And a bevy of fresh legs warming up for Club América. Unsurprisingly so, given the rapid decline in the efficacy of their press, as well as their possessional share. Nikosha. It's a consistent bout of pressure from Pachuca that we've hardly seen all evening. It's almost like the roles have been flipped from the first half. Robles, 34-year-old Spaniard in defense. Robles, actually part of El Tri Femenil ranks, 106 caps. Played in Spain for quite some time, though, with Real Madrid. Corral, Delgadillo, looking through to Ayeswell. Second effort, routinely into the gloves of the Spaniard Paños between the sticks. Right now, Club América can't play out. Delgadillo has seen her influence skyrocket in the second half. Rarely got a significant touch on either flank in the first. Becoming a central figure here, as is Corral. Robles. And it's a pair of sides that rank amongst the league leaders in Liga MX, 4 goals. 38 goals apiece in Liga MX action. And that's rather remarkable, considering, especially on Club América's side, the number of key players from a season ago that are out with knee-related injuries, as this is played through towards Camperos. And Paredes plays the role of sweeper. Not well, though. Goalkeeper still off her line. Chip towards goal. Just wide. Golden chance for Saldívar to make it 2. It was Antonio who actually had the final hit. You see Saldívar play it into Antonio's feet. Paredes is caught in no woman's land, and she is so fortunate that that was not on target. Let's see Antonio messing with her chip. Guerrero, numbers for Club América here. Darted across. Just beyond the reach of Camperos, a touch behind her. Entering the final 25 minutes, tension mounting in this potentially pivotal W Champions Cup group clash between title rivals in Liga MX Femenil. Guerrero flashing it in. Takes a deflection out for a goal kick. See the crowd starting to sense it at full volume, urging Las Águilas onward. A side that has left 3 or 4 golden opportunities to make it 2 on the table. Maybe another brewing here. Palacios. Dances Pasto Hale. And has it taken off her at the last. Hernandez, former University of Michigan standout. Dispossessed by Delgadillo. As well, clattered into by Rodriguez. And O'Hale is slow to return to her feet. 33-year-old center back who's been a key presence in the heart of defense. It's a Pachuca side that boasts a bevy of top talents in the center of their back four. O'Hale is one of the standouts. A veteran who's featured 79 times for the Nigerian women's national team. He's played in 4 Women's World Cups for the Women's Super Eagles. She is the veteran stalwart that his back line relies on. And hoping to walk off this knock. So for the time being, barring a change, Pachuca down to 10 women. Osinachi O'Hale, who's made now 77 appearances with Las Tuzas, walking gingerly. And it occurred off the ball here. She was tripped up by the late nature of the challenge, and that's maybe what eventually led to her taking a seat on the deck. For Club América, a side that has battled considerable injury across the board, but going forward is the biggest note preseason. Daniela Espinosa and Priscilla, a pair of players with double-digit goals in the 24-25 season, both suffering torn ACLs. Meanwhile, a third player working her way back from a long-term knee injury in Eileen Aviles. Hale is back on the pitch and seems no worse for wear. But not just the attack is a point of concern. Two center backs, perhaps their first choice pairing in Ania Mejia as well as Chidinma Okiki, both have been out for the first month of the season. And Ohale gave it a go, but maybe her night's coming to a conclusion now. So some center back injury woes on Pachuca's side, perhaps. Clearly tried to run off the knock, and not physically possible, it seems. She shrugs off Camperos here, and then immediately re-aggravates whatever the ailment was. Can expect a change at center back shortly. That's the night for Osinachi Ohale. On 70 minutes, she is likely withdrawn. The likes of Yoselin Orehel, as well as Alexandra Cordines, who could fill the void. Guerrero. As of now, it appears Pachuca temporarily down to 10 until they work out the change, and well, they've actually made it. Ayo Oka in for Ohale, a listed fullback who may be converted into center back. Or perhaps they move Robles there. He as well, overzealous in her attempts to win it back. So that is the change. Oka for Ohale. Oka, featuring in the United States Youth National Team ranks at the 2022 FIFA U20 Women's World Cup. Signed her first pro contract with Las Tuzas ahead of the Clausura slate after finishing her college career at UCLA. To a loud applause, Montserrat Saldivar departs. A tremendous display from the standout 18-year-old that had everything but a goal that she probably deserved. She's replaced by Bruna Vilamala, who joined from Barcelona officially this summer. So like for like on the flanks. Vilamala in, Saldivar out. Vilamala spending the early stages of her career with Barcelona before impressing on loan with Brighton and Hove Albion in the Women's Super League in England a season ago. Already with 7 goals to her name in all comps. Five and a half years to begin her career under contract with Barcelona. Spent the last year of that, of course, with Brighton. 19 goals in her career with the Blaugrana. Debuted as a 17-year-old after working her way through the academy ranks there. Palacios. It's knocked over the top. Flag does stay down for now, but claimed comfortably by Barreras. Before Vilamala can reach it. Corral. What can she conjure in the final 20? This is an eye-popping moment, this. Hooks it towards the back stick. And it clear only as far as Oka. Guerrero. Plays out with a wonderful ball. Camperos is onside. Looking to cut it across to Vilamala. Excessive weight on the pass, though. That would have been some goal had it materialized. The ball from Irene Guerrero was picture perfect. Coral. Pereira. Now Delgadillo, who is always dangerous. Robles venturing forward on the right side. Hooks it in, comes all the way through to Nikosha. Now toward the byline. Cross deflected out for a corner. But if that first touch is a bit more progressive, perhaps she's through on goal. One of the few corners we've seen for Pachuca this evening. Charlene Corral to take. Final 15 minutes. Las Tuzas still in striking distance. Within swing. Away. All 1,650 in attendance at full volume, understanding the urgency. As Nancy Antonio is slow to return to her feet, and that may require a substitution for Angel Villacampa. Clearly struggling with cramp. 29-year-old who's logged 24 caps with the Mexican national team, one of many Mexican internationals on this Club América squad. She spent her entire 9-season professional career in Liga MX Femenil. She's won 6 Liga MX titles, the bulk of which have come at Tigres. We see she leaps up, trying to take it off Nieto and landed awkwardly. And that appears to be the conclusion of Antonio's night. A frequent starter as a defensive midfielder since joining the Las Águilas last summer from Tigres, one of the most successful clubs domestically in Liga MX. And as of now, she'll turn down the stretcher and walk off on her own power. Antonio out, Alexa Soto on. An 18-year-old product of the Club América Femenil youth ranks. More of an attack-minded player, certainly, than Antonio. Interesting change with Club América 1-0 in front. Yeswell cleaned up at the near post. And it did go out for a corner. Excuse me, just a goal kick. Touch came after it went out. We approach the final 10 minutes. Club América still leads courtesy of Scarlet Camberos. So many chances to double the lead, though, have gone begging. That's been the story. Guerrero receives it back. It was worth a pop. Unfortunately for her, no real issue for Barreras to attend to. Issues clearing again. And offside is Camberos. Once again, the goalkeeper Barreras under pressure. plays it right into the thicket of yellow kits. This is close, but it does appear Camberos is about half a foot offside. Soto started up front in Club América's 0-0 draw against Alajuelense in their Women's Champions Cup opener. Now comes on in relief for Nancy Antonio. Hernandez. Guerrero on the turn again. She's been quite the handful for Pachuca to cope with all evening. Angel Villacampa has accomplished so much in his tenure at the helm of Club América. Has guided Las Águilas to 4 Liga MX finals, including the Clausura, capturing a title as well. This hook forward, nodded towards goal, just wide from Palacios. But he has not been able to defeat Pachuca with much frequency. It could change here this evening on the continental stage after dropping 3 of the previous 4. There has been new life, though, from Pachuca in the second half. Nicosia. Pereira. Flores. There's Kenty Robles. Delgadillo. Corral. And Robles floats it across. Here is Charlene Corral, the primary candidate to make a difference. This falls for Delgadillo. Robles again. Hooks in across. Nicosia's header is right at Paños. Definitely more for the 32-year-old to attend to. No clear-cut chances of note, though, from Las Tuzas. This is not headed well by Minota. Camberos. And dispossessed. Minota redeems herself well. Referee waves play on. Guerrero plays it through. Palacios. Forced wide. Solid defending there from Flores. Zaldivar was a difference maker, as was Antonio. 2 of them on the touchline. Antonio still being tended to by the physios after going down with what appeared to be cramp. Yes, well. Robles. Pereira. Guerrero. Left it dangling. And then committed a foul after the fact. Maybe shown a yellow for the recklessness involved. Caught Kenty Robles on the follow-through and shown the match's first yellow card. Irene Guerrero, the first to be booked on either side. It's a 50-50. She loses out and then dives in and gets none of the ball. Slight contact, but when the studs are up, you better get the ball or you will be booked. And Irene Guerrero finding that out the hard way. And with the way this is unfolded, you'd fancy Pachuca's best chances to level things to come on a set-piece situation. This is at least a chance to ping it into a dangerous spot. Floated towards goal by Pereira. Played only as far as Oka. Villamala. Guerrero. Options forward. Camberos is onside. Referee does wave play on. It is still Scarlett Camberos. Darting inside on her left. Just deflects wide. And was that their chance to wrap it up? Camberos making a menace of herself. Minota loses her footing, and the referee continues to wave play on. And then you see her just navigate inside on that left foot. It is the slight touch which does take it out of play. A necessary intervention from Andrea Pereira. Otherwise, it may have been destined for the bottom left corner. Another corner for Club América. This one to the near post. We may run it right back. A match that continues to hang in the balance. Pachuca much better in this second half after an underwhelming first. They've made a match of it. Guerrero again within swing. This one more dangerous. Goalkeeper was caught out for a moment. Now Soto dispossessed. Nicosia in space. Oka. Muscles onward and is fouled. Yellow card shown as well to Scarlett Camberos, who stymied the counter at the source. Late frustration starting to set in. She does get some of the ball here. Doesn't actually catch Oka much on the follow through. But given the nature of the foul, stopping a potential break, that is likely why Camberos is booked. Once again, Pereira can put the ball into a frightening position as more changes take place for Pachuca. It appears Natalia Mauleon is in for Delgadillo. Like-for-like change on the flanks. In the very late stages now. Pereira floats it towards goal. Deflected out of play. Corner on the way now. Charlene Corral once again over it. She's been the designated taker tonight. Without swing, to the back stick. Just knocked wide by Nicosia. And that, their best opportunity, some would say. It was a quality delivery. Nicosia was there to greet it on the volley. Unable to redirect it on frame. Final 2 minutes of the initial 90. Still all to play for. Nicosia read well before it could reach Corral. Errant ball from Villamala. And she now has a chance to redeem herself. And what a ball she has played towards Camberos. And will await reinforcements. Carrick. Soto. Gets on the end of this. It is still Soto, putting it across to Palacios. Final minute of the 90. All eyes will be on our fourth official, Santo Benitez, in a matter of moments. Will Club América pay the price for the bevy of opportunities that went begging in the first half? Or will they earn a largely deserved 1-0 victory despite a more game Pachuca side in the second half? Guerrero. Camberos. One-on-one on the near side now. Camberos deletes 2 defenders. It is still Camberos! She's been the best player on the pitch. And this another chance. She just can't quite curl into the far corner. Had the goalkeeper rooted and narrowly missed. Terrific bit of individual skill. Six minutes of added time. Renewed hope for Las Tuzas. Probably an anxious groan throughout the crowd now for Club América. And they will make a change in the hopes of burning some of this clock. That will be the end of Scarlett Camberos' night, who is already on a yellow card. Likely hope to preserve her for that key fixture against Orlando Pride. And she will make way to a well-deserved ovation. Her goal is what separates the sides. It is this moment that makes the difference. The flick-on header that actually comes off of Daniela Flores. And then after the effort was saved from Saldivar, Camberos there to pounce and make it 1-0. That came on 19 minutes. On 90 minutes, she is replaced by Karina Rodriguez in a clear defense-minded swap. Gets off scot-free for her foul. Mauleon. Heavy first touch. Two-thirds, or a third of the way through the 6 minutes. And you'd figure, given the changes, that probably go to 97 or 98 at this stage. Changes now for Pachuca. Strong shift by Nicosia in the second half after a frustrating first. She is replaced by Fabiola Ibarra. A 31-year-old who joined from Atlas ahead of that Clausura 2024 slate. Is there late drama on the cards at the Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes. América playing that crucial fixture against Orlando Pride on September 30th. That will round out their W Champions Cup group stage. What type of position will they be in come next week? Meanwhile, if Pachuca is to fall tonight, still definitely in contention because it'd be 3 points through 2 matches, but would require a strong performance on October 1st against Alajuelense before they themselves round out their group stage against Orlando Pride on October 15th. So in many respects, Club América will be sat waiting in suspense. Guerrero toward the corner flag now. Gamesmanship from Club América at this stage. This falls for Carrick. Loses out to Aswell. And now Oka. Still plenty of time for Las Tuzas. And now space for Charlene Corral, who doesn't quite catch up to it. Tantalizingly close. Well, if this result holds, what a performance it would be for Club América. A much needed return to form, especially defensively. A squad that has frankly struggled at the back their last few league matches. 7 goals allowed in the last 3 league games. 10 if you include the 6-3 victory over Santos Laguna. But they have been much more secure defensively here tonight. Bashed long by Barreras. Mauleon looking for Kenty Robles. He does latch onto it. Final minute of the added 6. And now the question is, how much longer beyond the 6 Alyssa Pennington will let us continue? Remember, there were changes both ways in stoppage time. At least a minute and a half probably burned for that. Soto. This is Gutierrez. Club América happy to play keep away at this stage. Paños looks long toward Palacios. She is onside. Beyond the added 6 minutes now. You feel the anxiety on the Club América touchline. What a result this would be to stem the tide of unfortunate results they have undergone since the Churrillo victory. This would be a step back in the right direction for Las Águilas. Vilamala is offside. And now the question is, does Pachuca have any time to launch one final attack? Everyone upfield at this stage for Las Tuzas. Desperation hour. Six-match win streak that hangs in the balance and likely will come to a close. There is the full-time whistle. A hard-fought victory for Club América, but a much-needed one. They make it 7 points from 3 matches and ascend back atop Group A. Meanwhile, for Pachuca, a 6-match win streak comes to a close. They are left with just 3 points with 2 matches remaining on their docket. Plenty of work to be done if they hope to qualify for the knockout stage in their first ever W Champions Cup. Club América winning 1-0, courtesy of Scarlett Camberos' finish in the 19th minute. Had other opportunities to kill off the match, but they will be happy with the 3 points regardless. It finishes Club América 1, Pachuca 0. We will step aside, and when we return, a look at our full-time highlights here from Mexico City.
Wow, la luz es muy fuerte.
¿Ya estás? ¿Ya estás? Un segundo. Vamos, 3, 2.
Estamos con Scarlett Camberos, eres la jugadora Michelob del partido. Felicidades por el gol y la victoria. ¿Cuál fue la clave para conseguir estos 3 puntos tan importantes en casa?
Sí, creo que lo importante fue que entramos conectadas, empezamos muy conectadas, nuestra presión fue muy buena y pues sí, creo que eso fue la clave, la verdad.
¿Qué podemos esperar del Club América en lo que resta de este torneo?
Sí, de que vamos a seguir conectadas, que tenemos que ser muy contundentes, a afinar los detallitos que tenemos que mejorar en el ataque y en defensa y pues sí, lo vamos a dar con todo.
Por último, ¿tienes algún mensaje para la afición?
Sí, muchas gracias por venir. Como siempre se hacen presente y nos ayuda muchísimo, nos motiva, entonces sigan viniendo por favor.
Muchas gracias. Estamos con Stephanie Barreras. Fue un partido muy cerrado, pero tuviste una gran actuación. Hiciste un par de atajadas muy buenas. ¿Qué le faltó a Pachuca para sacar un mejor resultado de visita?
Pues creo que caímos en el ritmo de ellas. Siento que nos desesperamos un poquito. Bueno, cae el gol y siento que ahí es cuando nos desesperamos un poquito. Yo siento que pues para el próximo partido estar un poco más organizadas, jugar a lo nuestro, que es lo que nos sale bien y creo que eso nos faltó, jugar a lo nuestro, llegar a proponer un poquito todo.
¿Tienes algún mensaje para la afición?
No, pues que muchas gracias por acompañarnos, muchas gracias por venir y que nos sigan acompañando y que nosotros vamos a ir trabajando y dar lo mejor de lo nuestro.
Muchas gracias por tu tiempo.
We welcome you back to Estadio Ciudad de los Deportes, where it's now time to get a look at our full-time highlights. And it is a lot of Club América moments. This, the early chance from Saldívar. There would be many more where that came from. Countless opportunities in the opening 45 for the host to open the scoring, and they didn't take many of them, but they took one, and that was enough. It comes here, a flick-on header, which actually takes a touch off Daniela Flores, and who else but Saldívar once again threw on goal. She's denied by Barreras. That was the story of the evening, but Camberos there to pounce and poke it in to a wide-open net, and that was the difference-making moment Club América needed. They jump in front just shy of 20 minutes. Camberos, who was sent off the last time these two teams met at the end of August, finishes to put Las Águilas in front. And there were further opportunities for Las Águilas to double their advantage. Pachuca in the first half looked off the pace for large spells. Chance after chance. Palacios across to Camberos. This time she clatters it off the crossbar. That the best opportunity. Las Águilas had to double their advantage, but there were more and more that originated from the counter press. And that was the really wide-ranging story of the first half. Meanwhile, another one was Saldívar being denied by Barreras. That opportunity saved. And then after this cross comes in from Camberos towards Saldívar, it's cut out before it can reach her for a surefire tap-in. And then Saldívar one more time before intermission tries to pick out that bottom left corner, and once again, Barreras there to save with her fingertips. Pachuca better though after the restart. Had a nice wave of pressure for the first quarter of an hour of the second half, but the issue not truly testing Sandra Paños. Ultimately, few real opportunities that troubled her, most of the efforts right at her. And then this a chance to wrap it all up. You see Antonio chip it towards goal with Barreras well off her line. Can't pick out the goal mouth though. And again, the match wore on at a 1-0 scoreline, and you just wondered, maybe Pachuca, could they nick one and steal a draw in a match where they were clearly second best? Unfortunately for them though, few chances to do so. Yeswo here went for goal. Paños unable to trouble Paños, and then late on, you see Scarlett Camberos cut inside, create more and more chances to wrap it up. This a slight deflection, which takes it wide. Otherwise, that may very well have been 2-0, and she was not done before she was subbed off in the late stages of the match. Had one additional chance to wrap it up that she curled wide. I'm sure we'll see it. Yep, we'll see it right here. Cuts in, tries to pick out that top right corner after deleting two defenders. What a goal that would have been, but unfortunately for her, unable to wrap it up. All in all, though, a strong display from Club América. They are the better of the two sides, and the numbers indicate that. Tripling Pachuca in terms of shots, more than quadrupling them in shots on goal. A 55-45 possessional edge, even though Pachuca had slightly more of it in the second half. Club América better of the two sides, and good value for a 1-0 victory that they feel very well could have been 2 or 3. At the end of the night, though, all's well that ends well. Club América heads atop the Group A table through 3 matches of play. Pachuca, meanwhile, with plenty of work to do if they hope to claw into the top 2 and progress come mid-October. Well, that is where we leave things from Mexico City. For our terrific crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb, saying so long, where it finishes Club América 1, Pachuca 0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.